In this episode, I'm getting real advice from Naman about how to return back to the gym after almost 2 years off. We talk fitness, nutrition, body recomposition, and how to start without burning out or overcomplicating it, especially with Ramadan coming up.
In this episode, we'll just make it like a tangible for the people watching. Because obviously, you run Sunnah Strength and you recently launched your school community. So I just wanted to be selfish here and get some advice from myself in terms of getting back into the gym, making fitness a priority. And basically, I just want free coaching. So what do you
Okay, that's
reckon?
fine.
What do you reckon, man? Is that that
Okay.
sounds like that sounds like a good deal. Good deal for me and anyone else that's watching. So I could, I'm probably a lot of your clients. Maybe, I was very consistent for probably like a year and a half. I was following a program, the last program that I got. Um, it's called Maps Anabolic. It's these guys. I think we got a podcast called Mind Pump, and it was cheap. Like I didn't spend too much on it. So because I think at the time I was like building up from like not being in the gym for like a long time, like years and years. So it was just like kind of just going in the gym, doing like kind of basic stuff. Like I think it was like body weight stuff. I probably did that. I don't know. I can't remember exactly how the program was laid out, but like maybe it was 3 times a week. And then eventually just to build up to enter into the program. Um, what kind of appealed to me was like it was 3 times a week. Uh, like I think it was like rotational. It was like I think it was like one of it was like I'm pretty sure it was 3 times a week. Maybe the other week rotation it was I think yeah, I'm gonna say it's 3 times a week, regard of all of the cycles. And I think like so one week it'd be I think it was like high reps, lower obviously weight. And then the second week would be like medium, and I think the other one would be like lower reps but higher weight. And alhamdulillah, I was pretty consistent with it. And then I just kind of I remember I just fell off completely. And I think fast forward like 2 years and I haven't done anything. I haven't been back into the gym. Remember, I think I paid like for the whole year and I think probably went like twice. And I was, when I was consistent, I was going like straight after Fajr. Um, just because it made it, when the whole habit stacking, right? Do something that you do consistently and just add it on. And that was working well, alhamdulillah, for the most part. And now I'm pretty much not would say ground zero, but almost like close to zero. Like, doing I got bands at home because on your off days, I remember in the program it said like you should do band work. So like they called it trigger sessions, like just pretty much, to activate the signal that you're sending muscle to your body. I'm just vaguely remembering all these like concepts and things like that. Um,
What made you fall off? Because you said you were habit stacking. And that was going well. So what made you basically reverse?
I think one of the factors was that like the so in my local masjid there was like complaints because there's people that don't really like Muslims, Islam, whatever, and they just kind of they got Fajr banned at the masjid for a period. Um,
What?
and it was like on technicalities because they were saying like for you to have this many worshippers, you need to have X amount of parking. And alhamdulillah, like this place is like where they selected to have this like masjid. It's like a house, but like it's like run like a masjid. They'd use it's located near a train station, so there's plenty of car parking. But I don't know, like because of these complaints, they had to like they went all 9 yards, go by technicalities, and then they were like, until you have plans to build like car parking and everything like that, whatever, that they banned so yeah, they banned Fudges to Love there for like quite a lot. Almost a year, I think. And that kind of threw my kind of rhythm out. And I think like things kind of fell from there. And yeah,
So
that
is
was one
Fajr
of
back in that mosque?
alhamdulillah, yeah, it's back now. So it is
So
back.
what did they do to get to be that technicality?
So they ended up having to so like next door is like one of the community guys' property. And then they raise funds to plan to like build to purchase the property next to it, and pretty much now they've kind of ticked that little box, and now they have like they went back to the council and showed them their project to inshallah build like an actual real like proper masjid, not just like because it started off as like a musalla from a house, and then now they got a full-time imam and 5 prayers, and then pretty much to sell the vision that they're going to be purchasing these properties, and the plan to build car parking, and it's going to be multiple levels and all that type of stuff.
Wow, mashallah.
Um,
But that makes me that kind of just makes me laugh because it's like it just reminds me of a story that Muhammad said in the Treaty of Hudaybiyah, where he felt like a failure because they went to Makkah to do Umrah, and then the Quraysh and them, like, they stopped them and said you can't. When they're coming back from Medina to Makkah, and he said you can't, we won't let you. So then they were just depressed. The Sahaba and the Prophet ﷺ said, okay, fine. And he made a contract with them, made a treaty with them, and they left defeated. And that's what they felt. They felt they were defeated. They never got to do Hajj. But then Allah said it's a clear victory, even though technically they failed. They didn't get to do it, and they just had to walk back home, devastated. But Allah said it was a clear victory because from there opened ways to the conquest of Makkah afterwards, and trade, and making money and bartering between people. And you don't know when that's gonna happen. And like them closing this mosque forced everyone to fundraise, purchase the next building, and now they're going bigger and bigger and bigger. And these guys probably are thinking, they're biting their tongue. They hate it. They probably hate seeing the mosque expand.
yeah, so it was, yeah, it's I think it's probably a regular thing that like most probably massages go through, unfortunately,
Yeah,
but um. Yeah. But yeah, alhamdulillah, I was quite surprised because I'd never seen how like a community moves like that because I'm quite built in and tight knit with this community. And yeah, when I saw like, oh, you got to purchase this, I'm thinking, well, how's that gonna work? And then like
yeah.
I went to the fundraiser, like the money just started flowing in. And because it's like an Indonesian, like mostly
Oh, okay.
Indonesian community that kind of drives it. But there's worshippers from everywhere, all around that live in this area. And yeah, they'll even get funding from back there, and just how quickly things move is just insane to me. But that's obviously the barakah and power of like being part of a large community. Like it's like a when it's just like rather than a few individuals, like how much you can get done, and seemingly like daunting tasks look like it's like I remember I was just a few weeks later, like they've already purchased that property, and they'd already paid off so much of it, and next thing you know, like it's already that thing's been demolished already, and they're already moving. So I was just like, wow,
Okay.
so I'm not, um, yeah. So yeah, that was probably one of the domino for me to kind of fall off the gym practice, and then from there, bro, like once you've stopped doing something, it's very easy to now like be like, yeah, look, man, yeah, there's no fudge in the masjid now. You know, now you're like, yeah, a key habit has like kind of been broken, and you're like, oh, this is out of my control, blah blah blah. And then like, yeah, next thing you know, like, and at that time, I remember how locked in I was. It was the first time I'd ever tracked like macros, and I was actually using like a forgot what the app that I was using, where I was actually counting. calories and things like that. I think I was on a gang. I was going on a gang because I'd never been on a strategic game before. And first I was just kind of observing like what my natural kind of calorie intake and everything like that was. So that was kind of the level of kind of diligence I was kind of operating on. And I like that it was only this program where it's like 3 times a week. It's a bit realistic to do it long term, like from a whereas, maybe the 6 days, whatever, that's probably hard to maintain over, decades. Well, that's the kind of way I was thinking about anyway at the time. And then it went all the way to zero. And I think after that, I was probably kind of concentrated on swimming because once I realized like I think I'd be able to get back on the basketball court and play basketball regularly just because of the knee injuries and things I had. And then I was kind of like, oh, I'm doing swimming now. And then, that stopped. I remember when Ramadan came around, I stopped going to my swimming um because I had to learn how to like properly how to swim. Because I think most people in Australia, like just because swimming is just like, you know, if you've watched the Olympics, you know about Australian swimming and everything like that. So most people know how to like swim, but then this was like swimming, like proper swim because it's like for fitness. And I was like, okay, I need to like learn how to swim properly. Because now this is like my main fitness thing apart from I wasn't going to the gym. And then I took that seriously. And then I remember when Ramadan came around, um, I was just like, yeah, let me just, it's kind of hard to do that. And then I kind of dropped that habit. And now I'm back in a framework. I'm like, frame of mind, I'm like, I want to get back into the gym. And then I was kind of evaluating what types of gyms I should go to. But then I was just thinking, man, the easiest in my mind, I'm thinking, and I'll get your take. I know I'm just kind of been talking about me and my stories, so jump in whatever you want to get here. I was just thinking like there's a gym that's like probably 800 meters from my house. It's probably a kilometer, probably
Yeah.
1.5 max. And it's also 5 minutes from the masjid. I'm thinking I should go for close proximity rather than
Yeah.
anything else. And the fact that it's 24/7, that's what I'm thinking.
But that's what you're thinking now.
That's what I'm thinking now, but you've got my
Just,
whole
just
kind of
go for
break.
it. Dude, just go for it. It's frictionless. Whatever is frictionless. You're
Yeah,
giving me like three great answers. It's close enough. It's and you got your car now.
alhamdulillah.
Yeah, Hamza, you got your car now too. That's a second reason, and it's next to a mosque, and it's 24/7.
Yeah,
There's
that's
really no point
yeah. So before I
overthinking
was
it.
like, man, I was looking at because like when you're making these I don't know, I was definitely overthinking. I'm like, man, all right, let's go. Because before I was like, I want a place that has like a pool, it has a gym, and this and that. I'm like, and then I was just like, nah. Because when I was consistent, it was just like the gym that was most easiest to my budget habit stacking in the masjid. So that's how I was
Y-
looking at it.
Yeah, and on top of that, I think that thing you said, and this one has a pool, or this one has something else, or something else. I think realistically, like, how many times are you going to use that as well? And what happened
Yeah,
with me is I moved to a new gym. So JD Gyms opened new, and they had a sauna, and they were just like £4. Yeah, it's just a heat sauna, so not steam. So it's just a hot one,
that's
and
what I
but
love. Yeah,
yeah, but yeah, and it was £4 more expensive than my regular gym, but it also had more parking and it was way more aesthetic. So it looked huge. It's actually smaller than the original gym, but
mm,
and it's further. But I was like, oh, you got sauna and it looks so cool. It's brand new. Let's go. I went, and in all honesty, I've never used that. I've used that sauna maybe 3 times in 3 years, 4 times in 3 years, and not
yeah,
because I don't like it. It was just more of a hassle. I'd have come sit there for half an hour, then have a shower, get changed, and leave. And the other people were there, so I need to come strategically at the right time, so I can also
yeah.
use the sauna and gym, register both. I rarely ever do. I might start doing it more now, but it's just there was
Man,
almost
you
no point.
you bring up the sauna, man. Like I got really accustomed to the sauna, especially like where I was like doing my swimming doing my swimming classes, like at a university, and it had a sauna, like a proper heat sauna. And that's what my local kind of pool that I was going to, that had a sauna as well. But then they did renovations that took like way above um, initial plans, like how long it took was probably like 8 months overdue. Um, and then they got rid of the sauna as well, which like the locals are like annoyed, bro, because that was like the main reason that you'd go there.
Why did they get
Um,
rid of it?
Probably cost effectiveness, like
Oh,
because and the pool's like not even legit pool, bro. It's like I never really used the pool. It was just for the spa and the sauna, my local one. Anyway, so but yeah, I think you're right. I think you should. I'm just prioritizing the fitness. Like if I want to go swim properly, there's like another place I can go to. There's that has a sauna as well, but fortunately, it doesn't have the heat sauna, man. Because I got used to the heat sauna because that they
yeah,
got steam rooms. Steam rooms like
yeah,
it's not the same there. It's like it's not the same.
yeah.
Um,
No, heat saunas get hotter.
yeah, for sure. It's like a
Yeah,
different type of
it feels
feeling that
like a
you
desert
get.
heat. It is a very different heat.
Yeah, yeah.
This
I find
heat
that
sauna,
way more. I don't know what you want to call it, therapeutic or whatever you want to call it.
but when it comes
Alhamdulillah.
to the plan that you were on before, did they give you a nutrition guide with it, or you just fitness, just exercise?
Just exercise. Yeah,
Yeah,
just exercise.
yeah.
In terms of it had I was just counting my calories. But these apps, I forget what app I was using. I think it was if you name one of the
I
main
use
ones.
my fitness pal.
No, I didn't use that one. There was another one. Because then I think the My Fitness Pal one, and that was like there's a lot of junk and ads and like all of this stuff on there. But I think the positive with that one, it had uh like it has a lot more cultural foods. So I'll find like Ethiopian dishes on there,
Yeah,
and things like that. But the other ones kind of wouldn't. I forget what it
and you
was
can
called, what I
input
was
it
using.
yourself though. That's the cool thing. Like I could input the calories from. So if I went to like an Asian shop and they
Yeah,
had like chicken or something, but Bengali style chicken, Indian style chicken cooked, and it's frozen or something,
yeah,
just strips or wings.
yeah,
But obviously on that packet it'll have the calories, but the app doesn't know that. I can input it. I can put in the brand. I can put in the macros. So next time in the future, I will
yeah.
always use it. But thing is that as far as I'm aware, that goes in their public database. So anyone now that comes and scans the barcode of that will have the calories. Yeah,
Yes.
I was telling
Yeah.
people as well, like, bro, use it because I've probably put in every single one, like in our local store and shop. So you guys don't even need
It's
to
that
worry about it.
someone's
You
done
can
the
just
hard
scan.
work.
Yeah, I've done all the hard work, bro. So
Yeah,
my
it's like,
fitness pal will have loads of random stuff.
yeah, okay. Um, yeah, from my memory, it was like I think it was very clunky to use, and it was just aesthetically, I think the app was like had a lot of I don't know, maybe things have changed. It's been a few years now since I'll even use any type of these apps, but yeah. So to answer your question, it was just they, you just kind of give your height, weight, whatever, and your goal, whether you're trying to gain, maintain, or was it shred or whatever you want to lose, what do
What
you
at the
want,
time when
calorie diff.
you said you're
Um,
bulking at the time.
yeah. So I think so I was probably can't remember, like maybe a couple of hundred calories or a few hundred calories above what my
Maintenance.
maintenance was. And now you're probably gonna ask me what was my maintenance. I probably can't remember. I think maybe it was around
But did you have quite a bit of fat
2600.
on you as well?
A little bit, not too much, I don't think. But yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
I think the mistake people make is when they don't have muscle or they're early training, they want muscle, so they think they should bulk. Just eat at maintenance.
yeah.
That's it.
I,
Because your
I,
body will have to burn that fat off. If it doesn't,
yeah,
then you're just going to be putting muscle while staying exactly the same amount of fat as you are, maybe even getting fatter while you're building muscle. Because when you're in a
yeah,
surplus, it's you can't technically, but yeah, no, it's not even technically. If you're in a surplus, you can't lose fat because it just means you're eating more than you should.
yeah.
So you're gonna utilize it to build muscle, but you still stay fat.
Yeah. So maybe, yeah. I'll kind of explain the philosophy that they had regarding this, and you can you can examine
Yeah.
their thinking. So I think it was that. So I think firstly it was just to kind of even know what your maintenance is. So basically, just observing your current eating habits, um, to even know what that is. Because I think a lot of people probably don't even know what their average weekly caloric intake is. So I certainly was in that category. Never measuring food. You look like a weirdo in cultures like mine to even be even using like even just a kitchen scale, right, to even measure your food, right? So I did that, and I can't remember exactly what the number was, but it was somewhere between like I don't know, 2 and 2,500, or maybe 2,200 and 2,500, something like that. So it was just to find out what that was. And then from there, like then you know if you need to, if you're on a bulk, you would just add, and then if you want a calorie deficit, then you would just be less than what your maintenance is. Um, and their whole thing was, I think, was that I think a lot of people coming in, people that they trained, whatever like that, they were obviously obsessed on losing weight, but they noticed that like the their maintenance was way too low for it to be sustainable. So it was kind of counterintuitive that they needed them to
Yeah.
actually eat more because them exercising more on such a it's like maybe like it's something unsustainable. Like I don't know for an adult person. You tell me. I don't know. 1,500
No,
is
because
like crazy small for an adult male.
1,500.
Yeah.
How
Is
tall
that?
is this guy? How big was
I
he?
don't know. I'm just throwing a number out there. So say it's an average person, an average
No,
dimensions.
that's less.
That's
For
quite small,
most
right?
guys, I would never recommend that. For most women,
Yeah.
I
So
would recommend
I
like
just said that
600.
as an example of
Yeah.
say like they just pretty much they were just saying that people came to them to lose weight, but their maintenance was way too low to even make that a sustainable thing. So they were saying like you guys need to eat more and then once you've like you eat and then they were kind of talking about building muscle and so they pretty much getting them to actually increase their caloric intake because this wasn't at a sufficient level where it's sustainable because then you're trying to deduct from something that's already like very low and they think like long term like that's not going to work um and there's a lot of people they'll and push back and talk. So yeah, so that's what they saw. They're like someone that's working out a lot, and obviously none of this applies to my example, but I'll just to explain the kind of philosophy that they were sharing was that people were already doing a lot, but their maintenance was so low, so they pretty much couldn't go any more down. They needed to go up, and
Mm.
that was quite counterintuitive that they were getting people to actually um lift more but eat more and then from there like kind of work
Yeah.
back because their base was too low to even build anything sustainable on. Does
I
that
I have
can you
the same
break
issue.
can you
Yeah.
explain that and break that down to like
I
so
had the same
people
issue
can
with the
understand?
client.
Because I was like, yeah,
This was such a good video idea, and I got lazy and I didn't post it. Not even lazy, just I keep forgetting this. But I just had a client who was getting married, and Hamza, we got him in shape, but he's still getting in shape, so he's still in the process. But at the beginning, it was like, you need to eat more. But he's like, he's trying to lose. Like, if we actually think about it, he needs to lose like 10 kg worth of fat. If I'm being realistic, like that's the position he's in.
wow,
Yet,
that's a lot. Yeah.
yeah, let's say 7 to 10.
Okay.
But if we when we checked how much he was eating nothing. So like, what the hell? So now if I put him on an actual deficit, it's gonna be like, now you're gonna eat even less than almost nothing. The guy was just eating like 1,000 calories, 1,200 a day. Honestly, I checked, but the
Yeah.
truth is, most aren't, and I think this is what happens because if we genuinely made them eat more, they would just stay fat or get fatter. What we're doing is we're not. We're making them eat the right amount with healthier options with more volume so they feel full and have energy to actually work out. Most of their food is high calorie. It's just they have a lot of days where they eat really low, and then 1 or 2 days where they eat very bad, very high. But even what they're eating that's really low in calories is usually mostly made up of sugar, food that isn't as nutritious. So let's say this guy, yeah, traditional Bengali diet, he maybe have a bowl of pasta, which isn't Bengali, but just he'll have a bowl of pasta in the evening.
Yeah.
In the morning, he'll have biscuit and tea, and in the night, he'll have a plate of rice and curry. So when you really think about it, this guy's only had like 1,200 calories in the day, because that bowl of pasta is somewhere around 350 calories, and the rice plate curry, which he only has one plate, which isn't a lot, or maybe two, it'd be less than 1,000. And then the biscuits and tea, he just munches a bunch of biscuits every day in the morning, or a croissant with tea. That's it. Now the problem is he started his day for failure because he started a day with high sugar. So what another problem is, most of these people's metabolism is so bad that they don't utilize their energy stores well. Neither can they put themselves in a body to like optimize muscle growth.
Yeah.
So we do actually need to make them eat more, but we need to make them eat more healthy, or quote unquote healthy stuff, some more clean food, because what that will do is make them feel full, because it's more volume. Most healthy foods have, you can eat more of it and have less calories.
And and what's
Yeah.
your kind of biggest problem you encounter when you're having this conversation?
Oh, with that
What
guy,
about?
someone like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't get it when I say you have to eat more. And
Yeah. Explain, like,
yeah,
what's the typical responses you get?
uh, now I've just learned to, because it will always work if they go and if they actually act on what I say. I'm just like, I'm basically telling you for the next month, eat more food to lose weight, and if you don't, you get your money back, and that's it. That's how it works out. But
Yeah.
usually, but when I explain it to them, this is how it is. I just explain it like this: you spend your whole life being very like sedentary, so they usually is coming from a person who's lazy or not as active as they want to be. So that's another thing. If you're not as active, your body's not burning enough calories anyway, and then you're lazy and you're sitting like this. So what you eat isn't enough. So you might be thinking, well, I don't eat enough, so why am I fat? Well, you don't move enough, so you don't burn enough either. So when you start exercising, you will feel better, but then you realize, hey, you technically don't have enough food in your system to actually keep up with how much activity you're doing. So now you have to eat a bit more as well. But the good thing is, and this is the like genius part of the body, how amazing it is, your body will start burning more because your metabolism will increase. Because when you start training all of a sudden, which you've never done before, your body's going to be like, okay, we need to burn this, but we need to utilize calories. Where the calories going to come from? Your fat. But because, the quality of the food you're eating was pretty crappy, you would also feel like you lack energy. Even though your body has enough energy to burn, there's so much fat on you. You're, for a guy who's really obese, there's enough to use, but the quality of the food you've been eating has been so rubbish for so long that you just feel sick and tired. So when you suddenly change the quality of the food, and there's more micronutrients in it, more protein in it, which without protein you can't even build muscle anyway. It's a building block, a foundation of building muscle. Your body will go into like overdrive all of a sudden. Especially for the idea of newbie gains is very true. People who suddenly make a drastic change see improvements earlier on. Then it just kind of balances out. You're still changing, it's just the rate of which your change is happening is less. So you might lose 2 kilos in the first week, which is like crazy, especially if you're very like obese. So I had a guy who's 136 kilos, 134 kilos. He lost 2.5 kg in one
How
week, the
how
first
tall
week.
is it?
6 foot on the dot.
6 foot. Okay, yeah, that's kind of heavy for that height for
Yeah,
sure. That's a lot
yeah.
heavier actually for that height. Yeah,
He's he lost 2.5 kg in the first week. And
yeah.
this is a guy who was training consistently for 6 months with a trainer and didn't lose 1 pound. And I still thought, are you sure? And he goes, yeah, man, I'm training consistently.
Just on that, can you
Yeah.
talk about um body composition? Um,
Okay.
because I think at the time that was like kind of like a new concept that I was like kind of grappling with. So I'll just kind of give you what if I can remember, and then you can correct it and talk about it. But basically, I think the understanding was that just to make it okay, because I think a lot of people um probably have like a fear of gaining weight, especially when because you go to basically think like I'm going to the gym because I want to control my weight or regulate it or whatever it might be. Um, so like you mentioned, when you start working out, because I'm just even remembering, I was eating way more, I was getting hungry way more. Right now, my metabolism is quite low, and I would say like to the point where I'm not eating breakfast till sometimes like 10, 11 or something like that. I'm not even feeling hungry. But I remember when I was working out, like you want that first meal like quite quickly in the morning. Like there's that kind of hunger that's built in because like
Yeah.
your body's been trained now to burn more and it needs more fuel. But then, as you were saying, like it's not just the fuel, right? It's about what type of fuel you're putting in. And I remember just when I was tracking, like it was uh when you're tracking, like because it's giving you a breakdown automatically of how much protein to carbs to fats that you're getting. Obviously, when you're not tracking, you have no idea what these ratios are or anything like that. But yeah, just going back to like body composition, they were saying like so you can you can theoretically gain more weight, but physically appear leaner. And they were talking about this was like a phenomenon talking about like body composition.
Oh, body recomposition.
Like, yeah, because
Basically,
I think, yeah, I think that's how I vaguely remember, but I think that was like an example, for instance, like the one person might do an experiment where they intentionally got overweight because these fitness people just want to, because they want a proof of concept demonstration. And they'll be, so this person was intentionally overweight. And then he showed oh, that's what it actually was. It was like the number on the scale doesn't change, but the body transforms
yeah, that
significantly.
makes sense. That makes
That's
more
what it
sense now.
was.
Yeah,
Sorry. That's
yeah,
what it was. Yeah. Now,
yeah. That's basically
can you explain that? Talk about
that's
that.
body recomposition.
Yeah.
That's what in Ramadan we had three people do that, in four including me. So I stayed the exact same weight, and my body changed, where I got leaner and leaner, but my weight stayed the same. That was just because I was building an equal amount of muscle as I was losing fat. That's what's happening. So you're 70 kilograms standing in the weight in the beginning of the year, or yeah, beginning of the year. So you're pre-fat. So what you're doing is you're technically main gaining or maintaining. That's what people like to call it. Where you stay on maintenance or close enough to maintenance, and you just keep training. Obviously with good quality food, high protein, and you keep training. What will happen is the energy, because you're eating the same amount, you're also exercising, you're living your everyday, you will be burning fat. But if you're building muscle at the same time by eating the same amount of food, but your weight has to increase technically because you're building muscle. You're adding something new to your body. But it's not because you're eating the same amount of food all the time. In order to build more size, your body will now burn from your fat. You will eat the fat technically. It's very technical. Eat the fat doesn't sound right, um, but that's what's happening. It's utilizing the fat stores in order to help build muscle
Mm-hmm.
as a form of energy.
Mm-hmm.
And so then it basically balances it out. So on the scale, you'd be still 70 kilos. But what will happen is you probably put on a kilo of fat, no, lost a kilo of fat and put on a kilo of muscle. But it's a slower process because putting on muscle, it's a long, long process and it's the hardest thing. Losing fat is much easier than actually gaining muscle.
Yeah.
But eventually, if you find the right macros, because it's a game, trial and error, to get the
Mm-hmm.
right amount where you lose fat slow enough that you match your muscle building progress. But if you're really overweight, it'll never be like that anyway because you can't put on as much muscle as you are losing fat. So you'll get way skinnier first before you end up getting on that position. So that main gain phase happens to someone who's already really lean. At that point, I was like 18% body fat. So to get to 15 wasn't that hard, but it was a slow process without a cut phase. It would be still be a slow process, but that's close enough where you'll be losing fat and gaining muscle around the same time.
Okay, great. Couple of questions. So one's like, um, I'll just write down the other question so I don't forget.
Yeah.
So, so now that you defined, yeah, now it makes sense remembering the way you're defining body recomposition. So when would you prescribe that? And when does that make sense to going on that type of
people who
kind
are
of
skinny fat.
strategy. Okay. So, yeah, okay, cool. So what's the aim of that for the person that's skinny fat then
Because
in that scenario?
basically, let's just go with like every single type of person. So someone who's obese or moderately obese, really fat.
Mm-hmm.
There's no point of them being on a body recomp phase because that means they're still eating the same amount of food that kept them there. And obviously, building muscle is so much slower than losing fat. So just lose the fat and build muscle at the same time. So jump on a deficit, and because you're so high in body fat, again, you can still build muscle in a deficit. It's been proven multiple times. There's the cut and bulk phase is gone now. Like the idea that you need to bulk super heavy and get fat, like old school bodybuilders, and then do a
The
hard cut
the
is
dirty,
dead.
what are they called? Dirty
Yeah, the
bulks?
dirty bulk.
Yeah,
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 that's dead now. You
yeah,
can
yeah,
do a kind of a bulk where you put on a bit of fat and then cut, okay, but you don't
yeah.
need extremes. We can be in between
Okay.
because the amount of muscle you can put on is only so much that the more food you eat will do nothing for you. It'll only be putting on fat. So
Okay.
around a 500 calorie surplus ish, around
Yeah.
there for someone who's already skinny, not fat, that's enough. 500, and if you're a guy with like super high metabolism, maybe like 700, because 1,000 you're just gonna feel sick. But you could be a 1,000 calorie surplus,
Mm.
but it'll just be fat the rest of it.
Okay.
So you can't force more muscle. That's the thing. The body has a set limit.
Okay.
So for someone who's on that cut, just someone who's super fat, you're not gonna replace 20 kg of fat with 20 kg of muscle on a main gain. Like people who don't build 20 kg of muscle in their lifetime. That's how hard it is to build muscle
Yeah,
naturally.
okay. Yeah.
So go on a cut.
Yeah. So step one, okay, just putting it back
Yeah.
to me. This is my free session. So step one is finding out what your maintenance is at the present time without so I'm not training at the moment. So I'd be finding out what my maintenance is, and
Yeah.
then depending on what your goal is, you will either caloric gain or deficit if your
Yeah.
aim is to lose fat. Now I remember now looking back, thinking back now, I was like, say like because I think on they've got this calculator around on their website, and it's like, okay, I want to, I don't know, maybe you had to define what your current weight was and what your ideal weight gain was. I can't remember if they did that or whatever. But I think one thing that's kind of difficult to understand is like, because like you said, if you know what your maintenance is and you know that you want to build muscle, um, and so that means that you need to go on a bulk depending on how many calories, depends on your height, weight, all that type of thing. Now that you're doing that, so how do you know how much you need? Because it's very hard to know how much calories that you're burning from your
Uh-huh.
actual workout. And I remember I was talking to my mate and I'm like, dude, yeah, my Fitbit said that like I burnt like um I think it says something stupid. I've got like an old I think my Fitbit's like one of the older ones, like Inspired 2. And it was saying like you burnt like 3,000 calories. And he's like, dude, you know how insane it is to even like
Yeah.
you could do like 15 Ironmans in a row, you know, but like
Yeah.
um, so I think knowing how many calories you actually burn, I think I think that was something else I found it difficult to actually understand
So
that.
I would say don't think about it
Okay.
because how much you burn isn't important. It's what you're eating and then how much you're exercising. Because if you start focusing on how much you burn, what's called it's never going to be correct. It's just
Yeah, it's
not
just too
possible.
difficult to
It's yeah.
calculate, isn't it? Yeah.
So what you do is, let's say you're 70 kg man, 80 kg man or so. It's actually my school community. That exact question you ask is answered in the school
Okay.
module. So
All right,
someone can
there you
check that out
go.
later if they want to. It's there where I give an example of an 80 kg guy.
Okay.
I actually bring it up because it's just so much easier to explain.
Yeah, okay. And whilst you're doing that,
Yeah.
what tool do you recommend to get an accurate fat percentage reading?
Also in my school community, but if you
Oh,
type,
great. Just
it's
join
called
his community, bro. It's just
I
easier.
put two free apps there because they're two that I trust and the ones that I always double check with when I make my clients' calories as well. So I make them using a formula. So I remember I got the formula,
So you don't get them to
like the
use
actual
like
mathematic
the
formula.
fat
Yeah.
pincher and then you just grab your fat in
No,
your
no, no.
tummy and your
There's no point knowing
the
your body fat percentage because it doesn't mean anything. Like if someone's at 18%, like around Daniel Craig was in James Bond, and he looked awesome, and he
Yeah.
didn't even have abs. He just looked good.
Yeah.
But if that's how you want to live, like I don't have abs, but I just look good, that's great. If you want to be ripped at like 8%, okay, that's great. I don't advise that for lifelong as a lifelong goal. But if you can actually maintain like normal bodily functions, it doesn't affect your energy levels throughout the day, your mood, you don't get mood swings, doesn't affect your libido, then you're fine. Stick
So
to
you're saying like
8%.
it's negligible, like knowing what your fat
Because
percentage is,
yeah, because
unless
how do
you're,
you look and feel?
yeah. So you're saying like
That's
that's more of
yeah.
a, it's unless you're like an athlete where, you got team requirements and, or you're doing like what, bodybuilding or something like that,
Yeah, the
competitions where
only
you,
one who cares is a bodybuilder. But even
yeah,
a bodybuilder, pro bodybuilder, doesn't care. He cares,
yeah,
do I look leaner than the guy beside me?
yeah, okay, cool, cool.
Because even then, like the obsession with body fat percentage is just a rough estimate of what's healthy. So I would say for a
Okay.
guy, 12 to 15% because that's
Hmm.
realistic. And again, I give a range because someone's 15% might look like another guy's 12 because of just how little fat he carries on his midsection, but he carries a lot on his thighs.
Hmm.
But we're not really seeing that. So I'm like, this guy's so lean, but he's actually not.
So what are
Yeah.
the important measurements that I should care about and actually monitor so you know, because
Your
people.
weight,
Mhm.
that's about it. Because
So
if,
so not
yeah.
nothing about my bicep,
Again,
what
why? Like
centimeters.
if you care about your
No.
bicep size, then you measure your bicep size. If you care about do basically whatever you care about, what means something to do,
Yeah.
it means something to you, that's what you should measure. So if you are really focused on getting huge quads and you care about it growing every day, then measure that. Besides that, your weight, multiply your weight in pounds by 15.
So just wait.
That yeah. So multiply your weight in pounds by 15. That is roughly your maintenance calories, very approximately.
What's your
That
stance on
yeah,
progress photos then?
yeah, progress photos. That's what I mean. How do you look and weigh? How no sorry, how do you look and how do you feel? That's the only thing that
Looks
matters.
and feel. That's it.
Yeah,
Not everything
because
else is just
if the
doesn't
weight's
matter.
coming down on the scale, obviously weight. So if the weight's coming down, you know you're doing something right. But if the weight's coming down and for some reason the strength gains aren't going up at all, they're decreasing and decreasing and decreasing,
Hmm.
then you know not only are you not maintaining muscle, you're probably losing muscle. Your deficit's way too harsh.
Hmm. So
So, yeah.
yeah. So in
No, no,
your
yeah, that's
in
it.
your
Yeah.
coaching, um, is it like is it just pretty much everyone comes to you for weight loss and nothing
No,
else? Or all
no,
right.
no. I've had a weight loss, muscle gain, a weight gain technically, and usually people who try to fix their nutrition like in a holistic way, not without drugs to fix their illnesses. So we had
Hmm.
someone with diabetes, pre-diabetes, Crohn's disease,
Hmm.
and IBS. So those are the four that I've worked with.
Hmm.
Gut health issues. So people trying to come to me to figure out a nutrition plan based on either Islamic principles or holistic principles that don't include drugs, or people who want to gain weight, lose weight. Some and two people who
Okay.
wanted to main gain. So they wanted body recomposition because they wanted to keep the same weight they were at and build muscle while losing fat. Now here's the thing, like I said before, for some people that's not realistic because if you have too much fat, you're just gonna have to deal with the fact that you're gonna have to lose weight, even if you become very light, even if you become very skinny, and then build up muscle slowly afterwards. You'll still be building muscle while you're in a deficit, but you won't be focusing on it as much because you're not eating enough. You will build muscle, just not as well as if you were in a surplus. But it's still
Hmm.
you will still build muscle. So once you get lean, for you, like for those guys, they need the cut first because they will be so much healthier. Their joints will be happy and thank them for it. And once they actually and they look much better. You just by fixing your gut, you've like this is a random number, but I would say you've got rid of like chances of 70% of illnesses if you
Hmm.
actually got lean and start treating your body well and not eating as much sugar. Because the fact is, when you cut on a cut, you will have to get rid of all the rubbish food anyway. It's not possible for you to lose weight without not like getting rid of sugar. You can still have sugar. I had a milkshake like 3 days ago, 4 days ago. You can still
Hmm.
have it strategically, but it won't be an everyday thing. It won't be a consistent thing. So your diet will clean up, and which will help drastically in your health overall.
As you're saying this stuff, I don't know why I had this like internal friction about the weight monitoring. I don't know if it's because there's been a shift in I don't know kind of the space that you live and specialize in. But because I almost I don't know if I'm misremembering or maybe you can explain to me the shifts and everything. But I almost like remember them saying like don't even worry about the scale. But I don't know if that was because it was tailored advice to people who were on a like a minor bulk, or if that was just generic advice across the board. I can't.
It depends
Can
on
you
the
talk?
individual. That
Yeah,
depends on
and
the
what their
individual.
aim is,
Because I've
or
told
is it?
people don't worry about the scale. But the people that I've told don't worry about the scale are
Hmm.
people who, one, they already obsess over it. But two, okay, let me give you an example of a guy who that was his specific issue. Someone on a recomp. Yeah, so I had a brother who was on a body recomposition. So
Hmm.
if you look at the scale, he'll always technically be around the same weight. But so then how does he see progress? Because he's not losing weight, he's not gaining weight.
Yeah.
If the scale's always the same, how do you know if you see progress? That's when a picture speaks 1,000 words. I tell him take progress pictures every week. And then we compare them week by week and we compare them from the beginning of the month to the end of the month. And when he looked at
Mm.
himself, he was just like, I look great. I'm like, yes, you do. You have been leaning down. He's like, why am I the same weight? You've been building muscle slowly. But that recomp only happens to someone who, again, already is at a pretty low body fat percentage, somewhere under 15.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because at that point, you have very little fat to lose. So, again, because muscle takes so much more effort and you can only gain so much of it on the max, maybe 2 kg a month for like genetic
Mm.
elite,
Yeah.
like a
So I
really
think
elite
are you
genetics,
talking about
like
people
2 kg.
like they struggle putting on weight and size? Like,
No, no, everyone has a genetic. No, everyone basically, no human being can put on more than, unless you are like just the rarest of
yeah.
genetics, more than 2 or 2.5 kg a month of muscle. You can't build more than that without drugs.
So I wasn't, yeah, maybe I
Yeah,
wasn't talking about muscle split. I just remember these guys because
yeah,
they're all like grew up with the whole, you
yeah.
know,
You can put on weight,
gym. I
but
think they
weight
were
will
saying
include
like
fat.
they were just talking about. I think someone was talking about like they remember how much they were struggling to put on. I think they were trying to do like mass gain, right? So they were
Yeah,
going on like massive bulks, but they were struggling putting on weight.
yeah.
And they were like doing all these crazy stuff, like having like an obscene amount of like protein shakes and eating
That
like
guy.
bad food, all those types of people.
Yeah,
We're talking about yeah.
yeah. No,
I'm
no.
not that
That guy's different.
person. I'm just kind of just vibing with you now, just bring
I,
talking
I,
about this stuff.
I had two of those guys. Either two things is happening.
Yeah,
They are tracking wrong and they're actually not eating as much as they should. But two, they're probably extremely active, and not just like they go and play football every day. They probably their NEAT level is very high. NEAT is stands for non exercise activity thermogenesis. So activity you're doing that doesn't include exercise,
yeah,
which is fidgeting, sitting, is usually, something you might realize is a lot of people who are young kids who have ADHD or they're like really hyperactive
yeah,
or hyperactive disorder, if that's the right word, they're super skinny.
yeah.
It's because they're always moving around. This is
Mm,
also the same person who's gonna struggle in the future if they want to put muscle and they're having 5 max gainer shakes.
yeah.
But it's because they're burning so much on a regular basis. They're probably people who fidget and move and shake about and jump around, and then they also do sports and activities. So that
Mm,
guy, which is what we realize now, is no matter how much food he eats, his body actually sends a signal to burn more and move more. So if he eats more, he actually gets more hyperactive, which is so counterintuitive. We're like,
mm,
well, he's supposed to. I'm struggling to gain weight because so I just keep eating and eating and eating. But if he's also someone who truly is eating more but still doesn't gain weight, on the other side of the spectrum, he's burning too much calories. So he needs to eat like that, and he should sit down and do nothing.
yeah. That's probably
Yeah,
is that like a minority of people that you kind of deal with
it's a minority
generally?
that come to me because most people
Yeah,
want to lose fat, but it's not.
of
I
course.
don't really believe it's a minority of people
Yeah,
because
yeah,
I've
yeah,
met more than enough people who are like, no matter what I eat, I can't gain weight. But
yeah,
most of the
yeah,
time, these guys are eating the wrong thing. They're not eating high calorie foods. They're
yeah,
just eating
yeah.
stuff,
Definitely not.
anything.
Just like
So that's another
whatever.
problem. Yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Cool. Yeah. So I think I enjoyed the time when I was on a bulk. Like I wasn't wearing once I figured out my maintenance and what my goal is, I'm like, hey, I'm working out. I was like really relaxed in terms of like the foods that I was eating because I knew as long as you know, met whatever calorie target that I needed, that was the
Were
whole
you
aim. So it was a very
losing weight
relaxed.
though? Were you getting lean?
No, 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 I wasn't. That wasn't my goal. I was just trying to
Oh,
just
it was
put
the
on
goal. Okay.
muscle. So but I don't think I put enough, I didn't really put emphasis on that, about the fat loss on anything. Because I think they were saying like, don't really check, don't really, because I think at the time, because when you're going on a bulk, because it's like, I think there's like a mental block that people have that you're gonna get bigger and you're gonna get bigger in all the everyday areas and even probably the areas that you don't want, but that's just the nature of you wanting to put on size. And I think it was just for the fun of it that I kind of wanted to do that as well. And then so looking on the scale might actually like mess with your mind because like now you're actually like reaching numbers you never reached, for example. And so that was back then, that was a long time ago now, and that was obviously when I was consistent and everything like that. But for what I've taken away from this is I've understood that I've got um, a friction point here. I need to relax and go back to like being wanting to actually lose fat, gain muscle, and so I need to do my maintenance, figure out my maintenance. So I have to observe, and count my.
How much do you weigh now?
I haven't weighed myself in like a year, so I'd be
Okay.
way off. So I'm definitely, I'd say, there's no way I'd be under 100 kilos, and I'm 6'3". So
Really? Oh, you're
yeah,
6'3". Okay, yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So
Mm.
I think at my peak, I was probably got to like 108 or something like that, and that was like crazy for me. Um, but yeah, my lower limit's been like
Yeah.
18 months or so. So maybe I need to get a scale in the house. I don't have a scale at the moment. Last one that I got, like, I think it tried itself probably like 2 to 3 years ago.
Oh,
And
108.
yeah, but my metabolism is obviously messed up because I haven't trained
Yeah.
regularly for a long time.
Trying to
Um,
say. Yeah, I assume your maintenance. Basically, this is the thing. It will come
I think my
up
maintenance
saying
was
your
2600
maintenance
back in the day. I don't know what it is now.
right now. If you're 108, if you were 108, it's gonna say something like 3,400 or 500.
I think that's probably way too much.
Yeah, no. As a maintenance means
That's
like
a
for
way
you
too
to
much.
stay the exact same weight as you are now.
Yeah,
But again, like they're not all that great.
yeah.
So I would say,
I wonder if I can log into that app. I should have my all of my.
go to 2,600 now or 2,800 now. Start eating like that and see how you feel. Obviously with cleaner foods.
I'd probably
And
have
if
to
you,
eat
yeah,
more to reach it, I'd
yeah,
say, because there's no way my current
but
maintenance would
you'll be
be.
surprised. So that guy who was 134 kg and he lost 2.5 kg in the first week. He was said he was eating more than he's ever eaten before.
Yeah.
But it was purely because the food itself was just so much better and healthier. So he was eating like nearly over half a chicken a day, like worth of
Mm,
chicken. He had potatoes, he had rice, he had like 4 eggs. He even had bread. That was like it was
mm.
an intense day. He was
And
like, bro, I'm not gonna lose weight,
and
but he did.
yeah, yeah.
But what happened was 1 month in, he was like, bro, I'm so hungry, but it's the same food, and he lost weight. He shouldn't be hungrier. He's lighter and he's eating the same amount. It's because now his body and his metabolism is in set, and he's like, dude, you're not eating enough. You're so active. We want more energy. We want more food. So now he's finally got to the point where on a deficit you should be feeling hungry. You actually should
Yeah.
be.
Yeah,
So now we're
100%.
like, okay, bro. Now I'm not gonna tell you to eat more. Now that you're hungry, you're gonna eat the same because now is the time of mental fortitude. Because now it's when a deficit feels like a deficit because you're supposed to be hungry. It's not supposed to be easy. Like I can't. I'm not gonna be that guy. This is another problem. As a marketing tool, it's great, and
Mm.
I've used it before. Lose weight effortlessly, or eat the favorite meals that you have. Yeah, I've used it because it is
Yeah,
true, but
yeah.
doesn't mean you won't feel hungry.
But yeah, because your maintenance when you're not working out is not going to be
Yeah,
the same once you start working out. Because now there's a
yeah.
load on that
But that's another reason why
calorie.
if you just start eating at your maintenance now, but start working out, you're technically in a deficit because your body's gonna be utilizing more calories. So you're
So,
actually in a
so you're
deficit.
saying I could just skip it and just go to my and
Oh no,
start.
I would say it is better to just jump straight into a deficit. But if you haven't been active at all and you suddenly start training, you'll feel better if you are on maintenance at least for the first week
Hmm.
or two
Yeah, I think
with
my point
cleaner,
is
healthier
like
foods.
it's,
Yeah,
instead of going through the whole exercise because it was a bit annoying that you had this. It was like pretty much like a 2 week experiment. You're monitoring it just to figure out what your maintenance is. But once that because I know what my previous maintenance was, um, then I can just bypass and jump straight into that. And
yeah, you
then
can as long as the weight was the same though. If the weight isn't close enough to the same, or like
that's a
if
good
you're more than
point.
like yeah, if you're
That's a
more
good
than like
point.
5 kg off or 4 kg off, it's gonna be quite big change,
Yeah,
and
okay.
you're gonna feel either too hungry, and if you're actually somehow lighter than before, then you're just gonna get fat.
I think I might have to, yeah, I'm gonna have to jump on the scale and
Yeah.
figure this out. But yeah, I think I'm pretty clear on what I need to do. One is jump in your school community that
Yes,
alhamdulillah
inshallah.
I've got access to.
Yeah.
And if any, and a lot of these questions that I have, like you already mentioned that you've already addressed it. And this is the benefit of having something structured and organized as opposed to we're just having a free-flowing conversation and I'm probably gonna have to watch the replay of this to catch like some of the topics that we broke down, whatever like that. But you just plainly broken all that down in your community. How does someone join in your community? I've got the benefit of already being in that, but that's just because I
Yeah.
know Noman and he's my co-host, so
Yeah.
good luck from there.
No, but honestly, well, if you want to know, you just click the link in the description below, and then you're there. You're
Okay.
you're gonna go straight to school, inshallah.
Yeah.
But beyond that, it is a community just of Muslim brothers who want to grow in their faith and their health, their body and their mind. And we have different experts. So you actually, some of your podcasts are there for the mind, alhamdulillah. So there,
There
you
you
can check
go.
them out. We also have other industry experts. So there's people who have more experience than I do that I also bring into the community, and we speak and we do weekly calls. And obviously, it's changing over time, it's adapting. We'll have more guests as well, inshallah, because it's something new. If you're joining today, literally in the week that we post this, then maybe you're one of the lucky ones who'll get it for $1 a month, and that's your price, inshallah, if you're lucky. But we already have 21 brothers there, so the
MashaAllah.
first 50 are $1, so we're already getting halfway there. So if you don't get it in that time, you still haven't missed out because it's going to be cheaper than any monthly coaching program. It just has to be. And normally people charge £500 a month for this. You're never gonna charge less over 100.
Yeah.
That's my word, because I want to make it accessible and accessible for almost basically any brother, an affordable price.
Hmm.
And the point of it isn't just I'm here to be a coach. We're bringing in this ulama in there, and I'm trying to build
Wow.
it up to the point where they can start giving talks as well on Islam
That's
and how
crazy.
Islam and science link together. And then we're going to bring in other coaches in the fitness space, mental health space, addiction coaches, and so on and so forth.
Wow.
Business, I want to keep business slightly separate from it because then it becomes a whole other thing. We're going to stick to health for now, inshallah.
MashaAllah, man. That's all for $1 at
Yeah.
the moment. At the moment. So,
It's crazy
like,
that. It's
honestly,
actually even, I'm thinking, why am I doing this? But I want to make it as
honestly,
easy as
$1
possible.
is insane. And, knowing Noman and I've gotten to know him over especially this year, we've gotten to know each other really well. Um, you know, you're getting a level of dedication and and passion to see change, transformation in his clients that I I allow them that there's so many people in the fitness space that speak a big game, but I just know I'm on the inside and I see how much you actually care, how much work you put in, and what you're kind of sacrificing at the moment. And I know how hard you work to build that school community. And then for only $1, which is like a bit of an insult to the level of the dedication, effort, blood, sweat, and tears, especially at the moment that they're in at the moment. It's at the end of the
Yeah,
year and you're
alhamdulillah.
wanting to put all this together. And I'm not just saying that because I know you. I would say that even if I didn't know you, but the fact that I do and I see the inside of what's going on and how much you've had to put everything together to, put this program together. And, I think $1 is like insanely cheap. And so I know I'm going to and go inside and get the benefit for myself because, like I said, I selfishly ask these questions because I want to benefit myself because I want to get back into the program. And yeah, I didn't have to struggle too hard to get in contact with you, and you get the same level of access on a weekly basis for $1 a
Yeah,
month.
you'll actually just get me for a weekly basis, on a weekly basis, and
Mm.
you got me in the DMs and in the community posts.
There you
Because if
go. I
I
don't know how
can't
many
answer
people.
someone's question, I will just make a video on it, and then you get a whole video on your question,
That's
which I've
crazy.
done. Yeah.
Yeah. So, Jazakallah khair for coming on.
Well, yeah.
So I'm gonna go do that. I'm gonna sign up to my local gym that's like less than a kilometer away from my house. And alhamdulillah, less than 7 kilometers from my masjid, and get back on track. And maybe we can check in after I don't know, a few weeks or months, and you can be like, "What's
Yeah.
going on, bro?" I remember I spent a whole hour with you on this whole podcast. You picking my brain. Like, what came from that? Was it just the like a podcast that I recorded, or what happened with you? And
I'm checking it right now. Let's meet back in
oh no,
for
I don't know.
this
Well, I don't know what I got
before
myself
Ramadan.
into.
Now, before
What have
Ramadan,
I got
that's a good.
myself into?
That's
Oh,
good.
see, that's my
You've got
big mouth.
yourself on a transformation. Yeah.
Me and my
Honestly,
big
let's
mouth.
meet back in Ramadan.
Oh
Before
man,
Ramadan. So
yeah.
that's 3 months. That's really good. I think 3 months. 2 months.
That's a good amount of time. That's a good
Yeah.
amount of time.
I think
And
that's
the
a really
fact that
good
this is
time.
a public platform, so like everyone, you're probably gonna wonder, or someone in the comments gonna be like, "Hey, what's going on with
Yeah.
your
That's good, man.
transformation?" And I'm like, and when you talk like this in front of a coach who actually cares about people's transformation, now I know he's gonna hold me accountable, bro.
Yeah.
So there you go.
The moment you said that, I was like, yep,
Oh
okay, we got a
no, I can
deadline
already
now.
see
We've got a
your
deadline.
mentality
Yeah.
just change. You're like, oh, okay, he wants that. Okay, I gotta make sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, just like I appreciate it. And yeah, you can hold me accountable. I
Yes,
look forward
inshallah, I
to
will.
that. And yeah, just there for all the insights. And I did that selfish for me, but I think a lot of people can
No, it
benefit.
wasn't selfish though. So many
Um,
people got to
I
benefit
did,
from that.
yeah, yeah, and I think a lot of people will benefit from that because probably heard a lot of these terminologies like I have. I'm vaguely remembering and things like that, but they're just kind of vague concepts. And to be able to break it down and apply it to your reality, to your own situation, that's the benefit that you get when you are working with a coach that cares about reaching your goals being reached. So, Jazakallah, everyone. Assalamu alaikum. See you on the next one, inshallah.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.